Hey guys, Chaser Evelo here. In this video, we're going to be breaking down Carlos Alcaraz versus Yannick Sinner at the Indian Wells 2024. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so automatically, the first thing that Alcaraz does, he serves down the tee. Sinner returns. Because Sinner's return is inside the service box, you see Carlos Alcaraz, what he did was he positioned his body with his feet, both feet, inside the blue or purple of the court there. Okay, so that's something objective that you can replicate for your own game. All right, let's see what he does next. Okay, so we got the ball back deep cross court. Yannick went cross. Carlos went cross. Yannick went cross again. Yannick hit a very aggressive cross court ball. So what you can learn from this is Alcaraz decided to go on the run on his backhand, open stance. So he planted with his left foot on the outside. Because Yannick went even bigger here, so Alcaraz planted, open stance, left foot behind his body a little bit, turned his hips, went out wide. He played more of an angle. Sinner decided to go down the line. He pulled the trigger, got a short ball. Okay, so Sinner went cross court on this approach shot. Interesting decision there. Okay, let's take a look. So let's take a look at his decision making there. So he was outside of the court and he went down the line. Not a bad idea. However, he should have come in a lot earlier. He should have hit that ball down the line and then realized Alcaraz is way far back. He's opening the strings, opening the racket, pop the ball up, okay? And then now Sinner, if you look at the timing of it, look, he goes cross. He decides now he's going line. He goes line. He sees the racket face open up. Sinner, instead of moving sideways, Yannick Sinner could start moving more forward, diagonally forward, okay? Once the ball starts floating up in the air, instead of his adjustment steps are a little far back there, right? So he could have potentially taken that out of the air, but now he has a decision to make. Should I go down the line or should I go cross court? He chose to go cross court. Now, the general rule that I coach my students on is go down the line unless you're basically 100% certain you can hit a winner cross court. Yannick is good enough to hit a winner cross court, but let's see how much risk he takes on this cross court forehand. He goes cross court here. I would argue that it might be a better option for him to go down the line. I think here he should have gone down the line and came into net. I think he would have had a better chance at this point. However, he hit a great cross-court ball. From my perspective, I wouldn't want to give Carlos Alcaraz a forehand on the run passing shot opportunity. Unless Sinner said, hey, I would rather approach to his forehand because maybe he misses more forehand passing shots. If he's thinking about that, then great. But if he's not thinking about that and doing that consciously, you're now setting up Alcaraz to be able to rip a forehand cross court on the run, which a lot of athletes like to do. Okay, they love their forehand on the run. And he actually went down the line, which not necessarily a bad option because he's just deciding to take some risk and pull the trigger. But there, I personally, if I was Sinner, I wouldn't want to have Alcaraz get that opportunity on his forehand on the run. I would rather him beat me with his backhand on the run, right? So that's what Sinner could have done differently. However, because he's so good, he hit a really good forehand cross-court approach, and he was able to kind of get a free point there, all right? So that's the breakdown for this point with Alcaraz and Sinner. Now let's get into the next point. So that could be one video right there. Okay, notice how Sinner, let's watch this point here. Kick serve to his backhand, he runs around it. Wow. So let's watch that point again. So it starts with Jannik Sinner going kick serve to Alcaraz's backhand, okay? So in general, what you'll see from the top players is they want to find their forehand on every single second serve return. You're going to see a big difference between higher level players and lower level players because the better players want to find that forehand on their second serve return, unless it's like an insanely good kick serve. Now, Alcaraz hit the ball pretty short. So Sinner, I think he could have taken some space away here, but regardless, he hit a really good forehand. Notice how Alcaraz hit a deep ball to Jannik's backhand and he went open stance, went cross court deep. Wow. Wow, that's a very difficult shot. Alcaraz actually hit that ball with some height, popped up. Jannik actually jumped a little bit, got some elevation, and then changed direction, big change of direction. And he executed that really well. He definitely probably took him surprise there.
In fact, he's won all of them.
But yeah, let's look at the next point now.
In fact, he's won all of them so far.
So notice, he gets the ball, the return, short in the service box. Both of Jannik Sinner's feet are inside no man's land. That's an objective thing you can look for in your own footage. Wow, that was good.
Power.
Okay, so Sinner goes out wide serve, first ball. He gets a short ball. Notice how he hit his slice serve out wide. It might have even been a kick serve. Let's check it again.
Some power.
Yeah, so Jannik Sinner goes slice serve out wide. He gets the short ball. So the first thing that Sinner did well was he went for the slice serve, which created the opportunity for Alcaraz to give him the short ball. Now Alcaraz is on this side of the court. He's in the corner of his court. So Sinner is strategically going very simple strategy, going to the other side, okay, with that first ball. And because he executed that well, he came into net. Alcaraz hit a good ball low to his feet. However, if you're Jannik Sinner, you're going to make that decision of like, look, it's not that bad because you hit a really good shot. If Alcaraz can consistently on the run on his backhand place that ball to your feet, that's just way too good. But he probably won't do that consistently, right? If you look at the backhand Alcaraz just hit there, that's a really good backhand. He got it low to Sinner's feet, and then Sinner hit the ball deep. However, if you're Jannik Sinner, you got to stay positive about that because you executed a really good ball down the line. However, Alcaraz just came with a better shot. So you got to live with that. Notice how when these players are in a tough position, like they're on the run, they usually go to the open stance. So look, Alcaraz here has to make a decision. Should I go down the line or should I go cross court? If you can hit a winner, go cross court. If you probably might not be able to hit a winner, go down the line. Let's see what Alcaraz does. He goes down the line. Good lob by Jannik Sinner. So one common thing that you can work on, okay, is in this scenario, right? It's actually a very common scenario where, okay, Jannik Sinner gave Alcaraz a short ball. Alcaraz is now in control. He rips a great approach shot down the line, and then Sinner throws the ball up, a lob, and he happens to lob him. So now Alcaraz lets it bounce, and he's going to hit a shot back. So if you're Yannick Sinner, one thing you can do, one strategy is when you send that ball back and you see Alcaraz, he turned his back. He's basically now turning his back to you. He can't see where you are. So now it's a great opportunity to start coming in. Okay, you don't have to overcommit, but you can see he's not even looking at where you are. So imagine if Sinner is actually already at the service line. He would have been able to literally place this ball away with the volley. Okay, now, it's easy to look back retrospectively and say that, but the lesson for you is, okay, you are in that scenario where you reset the rally with a lob, you lob your opponent. Be aware of, okay, was it good enough? Was it a good enough shot that maybe my opponent will be giving me a short ball? Or there's a high likelihood they're just going to rip the ball down the middle. Because if that's the case, sneak in, get closer into net, and take a volley on that next shot. Okay, let's take a look on this point here. Carlos Alcaraz goes serve out wide. He goes kick serve out wide. Notice how Sinner, notice his footwork. Notice his footwork. Notice his footwork. So he splits. Okay, Yannick Sinner split steps. He takes one step to the side with his left foot and pivots his toe to the left side. His left foot, he pivots to the left. Okay, he pushes off the left foot. He makes contact. Then you're going to see right after, his right foot is going to touch the ground. Look. His right foot touches the ground. So this is a repeatable footwork pattern that you can practice and replicate for yourself. And notice how, because Alcaraz went out wide with a kick serve, when he takes that step forward with his right leg, it's kind of diagonal going forward. So the tip for you is prioritize going forward on the return when you push off the outside leg, going forward, and then when you step in with the inside leg after contact, get it to go diagonal forward. All right, let's keep going. Yannick Sinner then notices Alcaraz open up the racket face and he floats the ball. So Sinner has his left hand on the throat of the racket. He's moving up, he realizes it's floating, and he takes the opportunity to take time away and rips the swing volley inside in. Really good.
Oh, he's relentless already. I mean, he is just giving out his opening games. And Sinner streaks.
Let's look at Alcaraz's return footwork here.
And Sinner streaks to a 5-1 lead.
So look, Yannick Sinner serves down the tee here. Alcaraz, in his brain, he split steps and he realizes, okay, it's going down the tee. I'm going to hit a forehand. So he splits. He puts his weight on his right foot. Notice how it's pivoted. Notice how he pivoted the foot out to the right, and now he's pushing off the right foot forward. Look at his body. You see how he's leaning forward here? His body's at a tilt. So he's actively actually pushing his body forward instead of just staying upright. Because physics-wise, he wants to counteract all the pace. The ball's coming in like this. He's got to answer it. The ball's coming in like this. He's got to answer it, right? So notice how he's pushing off the outside leg. He pushes off. You're going to see he makes contact. And then after contact, the left foot touches down. He just made contact. The ball's now traveling forward. So the ball left the strings. This is after contact now. His left foot is still in the air. And then now it touches. So it's really important to understand simply how the return works footwork-wise and what the best players are doing. And it's actually pretty simple. You split step. You take one step with the outside foot to the outside. If you don't have a lot of time, remove that step. Just pivot your foot, okay? Then push off the outside foot, make contact. Then after contact, you're going to land in front into the court more, and your inside foot is going to touch the ground after contact. If you can watch your video footage and replicate those 3 checkpoints, you're going to see a massive improvement in your return. So one thing here, so Jannik Sinner hits a ball to Alcaraz's backhand. Alcaraz runs around it. Okay, he's preparing on his forehand. Now, Alcaraz goes inside in here. Actually, he goes inside out one more time. And then Sinner goes backhand cross. And then now Alcaraz goes inside in. Now, when you're Alcaraz, here's what you have to be thinking about. When you go inside in, you have to understand, when I hit this shot, if I don't do damage to my opponent, if this guy over here, if Jannik doesn't have to really work for this shot, a good player is going to be able to burn me going cross court here, and I'm going to have to be running to get this. So you have to make sure, okay, if I'm going to go inside in here, I better be doing damage to my opponent, or minimum it's got to be neutral, because my opponent, if they're smart, they're going to rip the ball cross, put me on the run, and now that's going to be difficult for you, right? So let's see what Sinner does here. So Sinner goes cross court. He hits a good shot. Alcaraz is there in time, though. He goes cross again. Cross court, cross court. So look, let's look at the error there. There's something objective that Alcaraz did that resulted in his error. Let's check a look. Let's take a look, rather. Okay, so look, he does a good split step. Okay, so he turns, he hits, he's bouncing his feet. So, let's see. Adjustment step, he steps in, rips it, split step, Jannik hits it, he splits. Now, after he splits, he takes one little adjustment step, and then he hits it. The ball might have came a little faster than he thought. He didn't time it perfectly, and he missed the shot. Look, he could have made that. He has good timing. One thing that could have helped him is if he just took one more adjustment step. A lot of times those errors happen when you think you know where the ball's going, so you just take maybe one adjustment step, but then last second there's some little change that if you were still moving, you could have accounted for with the spacing, but because you planted your feet too early, you might make an error, right? He just planted really early. He can totally make this shot. He only missed it a little bit long. So at this level, you have to start looking at like, okay, what little things did I not do? Because look, you're still going to miss shots even if you're doing like most of the right things. But when you miss, you can look at, wait, what did I do objectively that might have contributed to the error? Okay, so let's continue.
It'll go down as 36.
So look at what he does there. He hit a good serve. He got a short ball. Look, he got the short ball, so now all the options on the menu are available, okay? So this is how you can note when to use the drop shot. Alcaraz hits his serve. He gets a short ball. The short ball is short enough and soft enough that if he wants to, he could rip the ball cross-court approach shot. He could rip the ball down the line, inside-out approach shot. He could do those. That should be going off an alarm in your brain of like, okay, I have a lot of options on the menu. Now I can consider the drop shot. Let's say Jannik Sinner hit a really good return deep to Alcaraz's feet. It wouldn't be a good idea to do a drop shot, right? Because it's going to be way harder to execute. But he got a short ball, easy ball. So what he does is, let's take a look again. He hits the serve. He serves. He sees the return. He notices it's short. He prepares like he's setting up on a forehand. He gets his racket up. He's fully prepared. Right now, if I look at Alcaraz, I think he's just going to hit a topspin forehand. I have no evidence to tell me that he's going to hit a drop shot. What that's called is it's called a great disguise. He's disguising the drop shot. That's one thing that you can incorporate into your drop shot to make it more effective after you learn how to actually hit a proper drop shot. How to use it better in matches is you got to have a disguise. And then look, he changes the grip a little bit. He goes high to low. Technically on the drop shot, a lot of gems in this clip right here. Technically in the drop shot, it's very simple. It's a motion high to low and then stop the racket at contact. Right at contact, he stops the racket. See, the racket isn't just continuing more. He stops it at contact, okay? High to low, stop at contact, all right? And he disguised it long enough where if you're playing against Jannik Sinner who can move fast, if you just telegraph the drop shot, what is he going to do? He's going to anticipate and start running earlier, and he's going to get to that ball. So against a fast player, you have to disguise it so that when you execute it, they have less time to run to the ball, okay? Let's get into the next point. Notice again, Alcaraz runs around the backhand because he wants to find his forehand on his second serve return.
Last couple games. Far in this match, and they
okay, down the tee serve,
last couple
gets
games.
the short ball, drop volley, Sinner got it.
No way! They can't help themselves.
That's crazy wheels. So this is a textbook reason why this approach shot wasn't that good of a shot. Because he's on this side of the court. So he approached cross court inside out to his backhand. And the issue with that is he hit the ball pretty fast, okay, but it didn't really damage Sinner. And he approached cross court because this was more of an inside out forehand. So he approached cross court, which breaks the rule of approach cross court if you can hit a winner or you're very confident that you can hit a winner, almost 100% sure. If not, go down the line. Let's see positioning wise what would have happened if he would have gone to the other direction. So here, if he were to do that, he would go this way down the line with the approach. So if you look at Sinner, he's pretty far back behind the baseline. Also, Alcaraz gave it some height on that shot. So yeah, Sinner was able to take time away from him and get a ball cross court. So yeah, it wasn't a great opportunity to come into net there. He should have approached down the line. Alcaraz did a really good fake disguise on the drop shot, and that was a good thing that Alcaraz did there. That's good. Let's look, in this one we're going to look at Alcaraz's footwork, okay, on his return. Let's take a look at his backhand return. Okay, so Jannik Sinner serves. He serves body. So Alcaraz, when he split steps, he doesn't take a big step with his outside foot. He simply pivots the foot and puts his weight on his left foot, which is his outside foot, because he's hitting a backhand. So, okay, let's go back again. Okay, so split. See, he puts his weight on his left foot. He pushes off the left foot. He makes contact. And then directly after contact here, because this was a fast serve, he makes contact, and then right after, boom, his right foot touches. His right foot touches, and he lands on his right foot. So you can replicate that for your own serve.
He has the answer.
So let's analyze in this one if it was a good decision for Alcaraz to use the drop shot here. Okay, so positioning wise, Jannik Sinner is pretty far behind the court, which is one factor. Another factor is Alcaraz is also in the green of the court, and he's behind the baseline, which means it's going to be a further distance at contact from where he makes contact to where the ball's going to land. So what that means is there's going to be additional time in the air that the ball's going to be traveling, which is another factor, right? Another factor you have to look at is what ball did he get and how damaging was that? Was it a very easy shot that you can be really aggressive on? Was it more of a neutral ball where you can maybe do what you want with it, but like you can't be super aggressive with it? Let's see. Or was it like a defensive shot where like he's got to be more defensive now? Let's take a look. He does a good return. Sinner hits a ball that Sinner does a good job of responding by taking time away and still getting it back quickly, which is called having good tempo. But it was pretty short, okay? So for Alcaraz to use the drop shot, I think, look, you can use the drop shot here. But if you wanted to even do it better and optimize it, it would be the one thing he didn't really hit here, positioning-wise, was his body was behind the baseline. So what that means is you're going to be susceptible to floating the drop shot, and you have to be really, really good at executing it. Because if you float it, there's way more time for Jannik to get up here. And look, even though he had a pretty good drop shot, actually scratch that, he didn't really hit a great drop shot. Because if you look at it objectively, it only bounced one time in the service box. When you hit a drop shot, it should be able to bounce 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the service box. You don't want it to be bouncing out so far. It's going to be easier for your opponent to get to. So Alcaraz should have moved his body up, get a little bit closer up to the ball, so he could take more time away when he hits the drop shot. Okay? Now, I also think because Jannik took a lot of time away and responded by giving him good tempo back, I don't think that Alcaraz from this position right here would be able to hit an approach shot on either side, right? So my thing would be, did you have all the options on the menu? Or was this the only option you wanted to go for on the menu? I think that Alcaraz could have gotten a better situation where he could do more damage to his opponent before using the drop shot, get a little bit shorter of a ball. So also being down love 40 in the game, I just don't think it makes sense to do this particular strategy, this particular shot selection. Crazy wheels by Jannik Sinner.
He has the answer.
Great out wide serve by Alcaraz.
Oh.
Crazy return by Jannik Sinner.
You're being broken a second time today. Carlos goes massive. And they'll get their wish.
Notice how on the majority of their neutral balls, they're going open stance. So what you can replicate is ask yourself, on neutral balls, do I mainly hit close stance? Or am I super confident with my open stance? If that's not like really easy for you and you're not super confident with your open stance, I would make that a priority in your live ball training to focus on developing a more consistent open stance pattern. Because as you play opponents with better timing and better tempo, you're not going to be able to set up in close stance every single time. So open stance will be more efficient, and that's why the pros, they use it more on their neutral balls where there's a really high tempo still. That's a crazy shot.
And Sinner.
Even though he missed that shot, strategically, I don't necessarily think that was a bad option because he got a really short ball. That's short enough that, yeah, if you're a Sinner in this position, I think he can totally hit a winner cross court. And also, look, he missed it a little bit, but if he made that, he probably would have been a winner. So not only did he go for the winner, go to the target cross court, but let's say even like he should have gone down the line. The fact that, okay, you're going cross court, he had the intention of hitting a winner there. You can tell when he's hitting that, he didn't obviously have a lot of margin. So at least, okay, going cross court, you're going to be taking a little more risk. So like you have to execute that to a high degree. So it makes sense why he maybe missed that a little bit wide. But that was a good execution attempt. But yeah, he just missed it.
And Sinner.
So strategically, it's not the end of the world there for Sinner.
The author of potentially his own demise.
That's a good shot. I mean, if you're a Sinner, that's just too good. You just hit a too good shot. So notice what he does here. He gets the short ball. It's very slow. There's a lot of time. Okay, so what he has to do there is he's playing. Okay, he goes down the line. He gets a short ball. He can do what he wants with it, right? Whatever he wants to do, he can do. His job is to wait until Sinner commits to a side. So see, he commits this way, and then boom, he pulls the trigger. So if you actually look at the higher level, at the highest level, athletes are actually able to wait, see where they can commit to, and then go to the other side. That's like the highest level of putting away those shots. Short ball, moves up, wait. Sinner commits, he pushes off the left foot and he goes this way. Okay, he goes this way. Wait, hold up, why is this not? And then Alcaraz goes to the other side. So that's a great job of him, and that was for the match. So that, like, obviously that's a really good shot, and it was for the match. But the lesson that you can apply for yourself is on those approach shots, right? Hold the racket, right? And wait as long as you can, so that your opponent, if they're a good mover, if they're smart, they're going to anticipate and guess early, right? So wait for them to make that little micro commitment and then go to the other side. Okay, so that's kind of advanced strategy of how you can optimize your approach shots against movers who are really fast. Okay, and Alcaraz used that in the last point that won him this match. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.